Well, hello there. It is Kusan here on America Island. It's a fascinating island to be on because we have the rivalry between the East Coast with you know New York City being the biggest city, Tony Soprano delivering his construction materials about the place. We have an overpiling of goods going to New York City. So I don't know what that's about, but that seems like a good news to me. And then on the West Coast, in case you missed it, we built a fabulous line here where we upgraded all the stations far too early for what we're planning to do with all these stations. We only have two trains running on this line, but we have, and those two trains only use a total of 3 stops. And as you can see, there's 5 stops, so there are unused stops. We have even connected a passenger terminal to 2 of those stations in the hopes of connecting Seattle and Bay City up. But for some reason, the West Coast kind of has a slower way about doing things, but they have perfected it with what they have done. It's because we have tools being delivered already here to Bay City. Now, in this episode, I am still thinking about what we should do because as much as the East and West Coast stuff is fun, I'm really excited about starting a loop line, and we have enough of an income coming in now. Because if you look at this is 44 years of the game's history. We're in 1871, but we're playing at half the speed in terms of how fast the dates change. So, in the last 21 years, we've almost got to this not $10 million mark. We made, in the most profitable year, just under $9 million. 8.85. And last year, because of all the building we did on pause, we spent about 9.7 million. We had to take out a few loans. Right now, we are $2.5 million in debt. But we can pay that back already. But maybe I won't, because I like to see that bank balance of 5 million. We can do something with it. Now the question is, do I want to... I'm feeling like when we connect this loop up, we should be connecting it from the East Coast, connecting to one city, and then start the loop from there. I don't see why we should start a third separate network. But the one thing is that if we start placing train stations that are more suitable to the outside world than they are to the inside world, and by that I mean the stations on the loop line need to be placed in a particular way that makes the loop look circular, because the most ridiculous thing in the world you could have is a loop with edges and turns and something that shows a clear lack of planning. And the only way we're going to get a good planning is, I think, if we start the loop line first. So I think we should do that. So grab a cup of tea, and don't grab a cup of tea because, do grab what you like. But the thing is, do we really drink tea here in America? I don't think so. So maybe you should grab a can of Coca-Cola and some chips, which sounds good sometimes, but I mean, I don't advocate on eating chips all the time either. But do as the forefathers of this nation would, and let's start planning this thing. Alright, so the way I'm thinking about doing this is having the train stops on the outside of the city okay, wait 1 second, because between Albuquerque and Denver, you definitely need to have it on the outside, because on the inside you have a mountain and you have farms, so you don't want to be going through those. And if you place the train station, maybe, and we could potentially place these train stations far from the city center to prevent pollution. But I think, or rather what they call emissions, but I think that maybe in this case, because we want to build a pretty nice loop, we can go right through the center of some of these cities. The southern cities look a bit easier. I think we should start off from Albuquerque to Dallas to Atlanta, and then Pittsburgh. These are the three of the easier cities to do, and we can do it on the outside. And Pittsburgh, we can connect up in a way that the line from New York doesn't look too silly connecting to it. However, then what happens is we start running into a bunch of these mountains. So Chicago, I think, is going to have to be on the interior, although Denver also on the outside. Let's just do the outside of all these cities, and we can even make use of this nice little, what this be, I don't know, but we can make use of it if we are not too silly about it. So I'll start with Albuquerque with the train station facing. We'll destroy the main connection. I don't really care too much about that main connection. Now I was looking for a curved train stations mod before I started this series, and I didn't see one, which must mean it doesn't yet exist. Now the train stations, 160 meters is bold. That is a big number. And as I've seen other players, they don't build more than 160 for a passenger stop, so why would I? But I would like to get the maximum. That way I don't have to rebuild the circle too much. If you rebuild the circle too much, you know what can happen, right? You get bumpy circles. I think just like maybe 3 degrees into this side, we're just gonna place it, and then we're gonna figure it out from there. Now I'll go on play. I don't mind being on play, although I do think we need to. I think we need to send another lumber train on this track. I had that in mind earlier, so we might as well try to also rank up our business, or what would the word be? Rank up our business. Yes, that would work. That word does fit. Or gear up. Not sure there. Alright, well, what's nice is we're passing all the industrial parts of these cities, which means, well, it won't be causing too much pollution for the residents. It's not like we're building it right in their backyards. So, what does a nice curve look like? I think the way to do this is to place the camera with the city that you're working on being the city facing sort of north to south axis. We got some more vehicles there. Something like this could work. It's pretty far from the center. It's even far from any existing roads. That's how you know that this is a well-planned station. That is going to be a well-placed station. Oh, did I just say the brand name of a gaming console? Forgive me there. I meant a well-placed station. There you go. Now Atlanta, you are a nice city to us. You have given us a north-south type axis of road already. You're even so nice as to give us a road connection, so I'm going to take it as you're offering it. I like it a bit. I can see there being problems, but Pittsburgh, do we really want to go on the outside of Pittsburgh? Because that's going to be a bit tight. A bit tight. Well, we'll try it first the way that, I've suggested it. But I see a quarry in the way. And a quarry in the way is never a good thing to say before building a perfect circle. That quarry is in the way. Are we gonna go on? Yeah, we can go around it. That quarry is not in the way, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but this mountain might be in the way. We're gonna have to graze these mountains just like that. Chicago, it could be fun to just take one of these cities and put the train station just right in the middle. That could be really fun. I think we should hold here. I think we should connect the tracks right now between what we have in order to um, not make too many mistakes and have to demolish too many things. As you can see, the radius for this piece of track is far on one side. I want it to be an equidistant amount of curvature everywhere. Clearly the station was not placed correctly. Alright, let's do the next two stations and see if those are better. So we're getting more of an oval. Let's place it. Let's just say that this part of the map is oval-like. Oval will be acceptable. There we go. Oh, what's happening here? Well, I've seen this before. I know how to deal with that. I've seen that before. That has happened on our west coastline. Now, between these two stations, is there really going to be a curve? There's a farm there. There's a quarry there. Yep, everything's in the way. It's also not looking like a circle to me. It's looking like a... I said I'd go on the outside, right? That's brave. Okay, I would like a straight piece of track, if possible. That would be straight. Just a bit more straight track, and then we'll call upon a curve to do its dirty work. Nope, nope, does not accept that. Okay, how about... Should we have straight portions of track along our thing? I think that actually would be so fashionable that we are going to try it. But it would have to be on all the sides. It can't just be one side that gets a piece of straight track and then the rest of the loop is curvy. It would make it more fun to ride as well. You go right through that hill, but you say it works. Actually, that means we can get more straight track. So the loop has become less of a loop and more probably of a hexagon type or octagon type build, which decreases efficiency, I'm not gonna lie. Although it already has some hexagonal properties. Alright, what are we thinking? This clearly, I think it looks good the way it is, but we know it's not going to look good if I don't stick to a one type of pattern. So we'll demolish all this. Look at that, we're running out of money. I don't know why that would be, but we clearly have run out of money just now. That's okay. We'll just take... Oh look, money is coming back in. We have run back into money. The money is now going back up. Profit has been achieved. Oh, money's going back down, everybody. This is like a stock. I'm like a stock ticker. I'm telling you everything about everything. How much straight track are you willing to give me before things start not looking circular? Probably around there. And then this one can extend. You see, the essence of trains is that straight track means fast trains. Even in the ancient times. But at this point, maybe we have to get a curve in there somewhere. Yeah, see, we're already slowing down the train with that business. How about 1.8 million? There we go. That curve includes this mountain inside what I will call now the city center. This is the District of Columbia on the inside. That's why we have that. So now we're doing a loop that is not quite loopy. It's quite molecular, I would say. Molecular because if we're talking about those, you know what, do I even continue this thought? I don't know if I should tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking those molecules that plants have called cellular, I don't know what they're called. Someone's gonna help me out here. Our loop line is starting to look like a plant cell. So that was that thought. Now we don't want to run into the farm here. That would be ungood. And this piece of straight track is also giving us some problem. Unless I, of course, demolish this wiggly road. I love demolishing wiggly road. It's kind of what I live for. The game gives you so much wiggly road to demolish. Now, do we engage in 2 bends per segment? Would that be too many bends per segment? Oh, apparently we need to put a bridge here. I've never heard of that. How about a wooden, okay, wait, a mountain. Well, first things first, does that curve look good? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will get a hexagon if we keep up with this. Bring it as close as you can to this farm, and then do a turn. Three fields will be removed is unacceptable type of demolishing, so we don't even have that kind of money to buy the farmers off their land, so we're not going to do that. Now this bridge, I feel like I have no choice but to go with a bridge. How come we're getting a bridge here? Is there really contour problems? There's a minor contour problem. That's a long bridge. And I'm trying to avoid placing a bridge, so let's do like this. Let's do a doubly placed curve and see if that is nice. It's not as sharp. It's not as sharp of a curve as the other curve, but it'll pass actually. That seems to work. It looks like it's going uphill. What is this? What is this about? First you need to build a bridge, now you need to go and go uphill. Something's not adding up. Does that help, or did I just rebuild the same thing? It doesn't help. It helps a bit. No worries. Okay, that's fine. I'll accept that. So now we have all these cities connected in a loop. Can we get the other cities connected up? I think we can. I think we just keep doing what we're doing, which means keep placing stations on the outsides and connecting them up with a double straight, 2 pieces of straight track and 1 piece of curved track. What was our technique? Our technique was to face the camera as if it's a compass with Washington in the middle, which means I'm gonna have to do one of these unaligned to the city type stations, but aligned to the loop itself, so that works. Maybe we can put it here to at least align it to that main road. And I see a bit of hilliness on one side of that train station. I hope that doesn't mean that you're gonna be all hilly about it. You are gonna be all hilly about it because we're in between a bunch of hills. Would you like to go there? No, but that's not even what we want. We want to build a straight track to about here for about $125,000 and build the other track first. Okay, that's the order things are done in. Perhaps we need to make sure they're about the same length. They are close to the same length. It can be a bit more, I guess. Maybe just a bit more. I think we bid too much. Nope. This is about what we want. I think we can go a bit more on this side too. A bit more what? A bit more straight. And then a bit of curve. And we have 2 more cities connected, which is wonderful. Oh, did not realize that, but this hexagon only looks good from one side so far. Well, not to worry, it's still good, I would say. It all just depends on the angle you're looking at. But if we want true perfection, let's see, are our stations equally distant apart? I think Atlanta to Pittsburgh is the longest one. Or maybe it's Dallas to Albuquerque. But anyway, Pittsburgh to Chicago to Denver needs to be, the train station needs to be right here. That's what my calculations tell me. Just right here. Maybe actually right underneath the label of the city, that way. How much on a hill are we up here? Are we on a hill at all? We're on a bit of a hill. I'm going to sink this station into the ground by 2 degrees. Because we're gonna cause some tunneling on this segment. I'm pretty sure we're gonna need some tunnels. Okay, I just realized there's a quarry on that side of us. So we're just gonna redo this. Nobody saw this. We're just gonna redo that. Nobody saw that. Now I have a bunch of cities complaining about like missing connections and whatnot. What I'm doing is I'm connecting more things to you. So calm down, calm down. Alright. Straight piece of track. Oh, what? Is the tunnel not called for? Fine, I'll take it. How about on this side? Can we get by here? We're definitely gonna need... You know what? It is true that if we bring this straight piece of track here all the way, 340,000 is a sum of money I don't have, so we're gonna have to just... Oh, we have the money. We're gonna go until it says straight. It says like it's on an elevation. So there's a tunnel here. How does that look? That looks okay. Now this would be too much of a curve though. So here we go. I'll place that there, and I'm going to demolish this road. I don't need that road for the moment. And we're going to need another tunnel on this side, which is okay. In fact, I think we can bring this out just a bit. And bring this one out just a bit. See if we can't get a tunnel nicely in there. That's not as nicely as I had hoped. And we're currently in the negative, but we're so close to building this loop line, I'm going to take out my loans out. There we go, 6.5 million in loans. Is that, would you call this a nice curve? It seems a bit more curved on one side than it is on the other, because we need to probably build this like that, but without the slope. This is claiming to me it's straight. What if we cut half this mountain off? No, that's not okay. Okay, there's a tunnel now. We're going to start the curve in the tunnel. Now that is Art Deco right there, what I'm doing. Has it helped? Now I want to bring this one out a bit more. But that was a mistake. That was a mistake. There you go, back to the Art Deco tunnel. Half the tunnel is straight, half the tunnel is curved. I don't know if that's okay. But we'll put up with it for now, and upon examining it, Looks good to me, I think. We clearly have a asymmetrical hexagon happening. But I think in terms of efficiency, we're going to put some really fast trains on these lines. I think maybe once the fast trains, I don't know how fast the fastest train goes, but maybe even 120 on a curve is not going to work for us. So we're going to have to maybe make the curves a bit wider, but that will just mean the circle will look better. I hope that's what it means. Now this curve is going to have to be ginormous in order for it to sort of fit into this valley. Zoom in to build. Alright, I'll do that. That seems like a reasonable tunnel, except why is it coming out down here? Because he's also going downhill. It's 1.7 million for this piece of infrastructure. I will take it. But I'm gonna... oh boy. I may have just wasted $1.7 million. I don't like it. What I don't like about it is that it goes so deep underground. I'm so sorry to my investors who loan me money, because right now I have spent it unwisely. The condition of road vehicle number 9 is not good. Well, do you know what I say to that? I say that's okay. I say that doesn't bother me at all. Okay, how does one do this without that slope? We build it piece by piece. Because at some point we're going to have trains that go up hills a bit. Just minor hills. It's very minor. We got a nice curve here. And at this point, he's building a slope. See how ridiculous these guys are? They don't know what they want. Do they want a slope, or do they want a the opposite of a slope? I didn't even check out the price of that. I just went for it because I thought it looked better than the first one. See, look at that. We're just going, if we take away this here tunnel build, you can't even see there is a tunnel over here. And you would probably want to know there's a tunnel here. So we will chop some trees down, fortunately. But there we go. We can even make this land a bit smoother. Whoops, that's the opposite of smooth. That's kind of... whoops. Okay, well that's how they build tunnels, I guess. So, okay, now everything's not smooth like I like it. Let's put smoothing gun here. Boom. Now, the only way to know if this loop line looks nice is to actually build a line so we can see. And I think the first stop should be who's gonna get the train depot? It doesn't even matter. Let's put Dallas though. It's a long straight piece of track. Denver Exchange, Albuquerque. Okay, so the loop line, it looks like a... I'm at a loss for words. It's not the best. It looks like a hexagon sometimes from some angles. Some angles it looks like a pentagon. And some angles it looks like a cube. But at no point does it look like a circle. It has to do with let me justify this for you. It has to do with the stations being straight, first of all. Second of all, it has to do with the natural geography a bit, and where they put factories and stuff. Because I had to go around some quarries and some farms. And it has to also do with the fact that the stations are not... they're not actually on a perfect... they're not on a circular path. These stations are in this kind of a weird placement. That's why. Alright, but this will at least let us have other train lines come in and out with some ease, because otherwise I think it might look a bit ridiculous. But I think over time, as we develop the ring into a ring with spinning off parts, like a ring with sort of on ramps and off ramps, things will look good. We'll even do one right now. Let's see. This guy here is gonna just go right to Pittsburgh. Like that was my dream. That is honestly, I've been dreaming about this part. When New York finally connects to the loop. So look, we come up on this mountain. We don't want to be on this mountain. We want to be right about this here straight part of track. Now, okay, I've already realized one of my mistakes was I didn't plan for this in a way that we're gonna have more than one line here. We do want a separate line for the outer trains joining in. Let's see. What am I talking about? I mean, we want a second platform and a second pair of track. Although I was now thinking, do we want cargo on these same train stations? Because I haven't done it right if we do. Well, no worries, we'll figure that part out. If there's a lot of going forward and backward in this game where I figure things out and then I don't like it and then I redo it, but at least we're moving forward all together here. I'm now building train tracks that are parallel but not quite parallel, so that's okay. I'm okay with that. It has to be done sometimes. It has to be tried. I don't know if it'll be staying this way, but we're trying it this way. Now, what kind of a curve can we get here? A pretty bad curve. Let's bring this back a bit. Make sure we're connecting to the right platform. I think we are. Yeah, we are. The outer platform, which becomes the inner platform. Or is it the other way around? But, alright. See, and that's what I'm talking about. That is a decent that's a decent junction right there. That's a decent piece of junction. That junction is a decent piece of connection. Yeah. That connection is a junction like no other function. I could keep going here. This junction passes all the... okay, I have actually run out of things to say about this junction. It's a good junction. It's a junction without a junction. There's not any junctioning happening. It is just a... it's a convergence. This convergence is like no other emergence. There we go. There we go. So, shall we send the train from New York City to Pittsburgh? It makes sense to me. Boston. First stop Boston. Next stop New York City. Third stop Philadelphia. Fourth stop Pittsburgh. Now, I looked on a map, and I realized Pittsburgh is quite due north of some of the cities. You do realize this isn't a map of America. I hope that other people... Or do you guys think that I don't know what America looks like on a map, and you just think that I've misidentified this map? No, the truth is, I'm using my imagination. There is no Tony Soprano on this island. That is a fictitious character who has been inspired by Tony Soprano from the show The Sopranos. I'm explaining too much. You know about this already. You know about this. But what you didn't know is that this isn't the map of America. This is an imagination. This is me using my imagination. I mean, I put coastal cities on the coast. I put New York on a place that has sort of a Manhattan-looking feature. This could be, you know, Staten Island and Long Island or something inverted. This could be the Adirondack Mountains. And then Washington is apparently equidistant from a bunch of these cities in my imagination, but in real life, Washington is not close to Dallas or anything like that. So that's me explaining something you should probably have known by episode, I don't know, 9 or 8. You probably should have known that this isn't. Okay, focus. Put the train East Coast line, Philadelphia station, add station, Pittsburgh back to Philadelphia station. Oh, click on the right icon, that one. Are we getting the right tracks? We're getting the right tracks. Excellent. It should be a one-way signal, I think. Doesn't really matter. Did you know you pay monthly cost on these signals? So the less signals you place, the more $5 bills you'll be saving, because I think it only costs $5 or $25 per month. But there we go. That is a beautiful line. And that circular line is a beautiful line. I'm going to have to extend this episode just a bit. Maybe another 10 to 15 minutes, because we are just going to connect the whole thing here on the west coast. Now, a train that goes from Seattle to Denver and then back to Bay City would seem not logical if this was a true map of the America, of the United States of America, because that would be going far inland and then far not inland. Also, it would probably look really ugly. So I think that we're gonna have to do the same thing I was just doing with the other line, which is building parallel tracks, but not actually touching it parallel, just parallel in so much that it can go. I think this is it right here. This is snapping right here. So as you can see, it's going to make quite a hideous slope. Let's keep going. Let's accept that, because that's the whole reason we okay, now we have to build from the other side. There's going to be a train track set into the ground. That would be the cargo train line. And then there's going to be a train track right beside it that is going to take the mountain route. And that is going to be this one. As you can see, now this one's been set into the ground. I'm not going to stand for that. I'm not going to stand for that one bit. I'm going to bring it back here and ride the waves of the slopey East Coast. Yeah, now you're saying you need it. You see what I mean? At first you were digging, now you're building a whole mountain to put a train track on. Just give it to me straight. A little bit of slope here and a little bit of that seems to me like it's the in-between right there. So yeah, that looks like it's nice. I think I figured you out there. Tried pulling me one over me, but I pulled it over you. How about that? Does that pull anyone anywhere? That pulls itself well. There's a little bit of digging going on, but enough that we're happy with it, I think. Because I would by no means want to build two different goes at it. Like, make it. What I'm saying is, to make it a nice slope, you have to do it in one shot. A nice curve. In order to get a nice curve, you would have to go from point A to point B right away. Like, I hope the visuals are explaining it more than my vocals, because I'm just trying to give you a tip here on how to make a nice track. I mean, if you think that any of this looks nice, then you are free to use my tip. If you think it looks bad, particularly the fact that we have two train tracks beside each other on two different elevations, it's all part of the show. This is all part of what I wanted in the first place. Yes, this is what I wanted. Now, it looks very almost realistic. I feel like this could happen in real life. Now look at these two trains passing each other. They're both empty. I assume they're both empty. They're both empty, so there's nothing to see here. Keep a move on. Alright, now that we should set up a line here. I need to buy a bunch of trains, and I only have $1.6 million. Yeah, you do realize we are paying maintenance on all these different train stations, and there's a train going to Pittsburgh that, well, it has 10 people on it. That is surprising because I did not in any way connect Pittsburgh with any sort of local transit. So we are taking a heavy loss there. Also, we have all these cities complaining, which means they might have a little population loss here and there. But my big decision now is, where is the train to Denver going to come from? Bay City or Seattle? The condition of multiple vehicles is very poor. I hear you. Let's see. Well, these rail lines are not going to be as pretty as the one on this coast. This one sort of lined up naturally, didn't it? But I'm not going to stand for, if we're going to have a almost symmetrical but not symmetrical hexagon, we need to have good connections for it. So that would probably mean Bay City to Denver is the right line. Or, well, we'll still think about that. Well, we have thought about it, and we have decided to go, we have confirmed the Bay City to Denver route because, according to maps of the United States and their rail networks, it is quite obvious that there is a train route that goes from San Francisco through Salt Lake City, I believe, to Denver. So this will be kind of an homage to the real life. Now I'm just wondering, because I really did want to avoid a train line messing up this area. This area is pretty clean, but let's see, if we just do a gentle curve off to this side, maybe with a bit of a slope adjustment here so that we don't have to do too much rebuilding. I mean, there must be some kind of a slope going in that direction because we are climbing into the, there we go, there is a slope here. We're climbing into the interior of the island. So something more or less like this would have a slope, but it would also be a good shortcut to get from Bay City to Denver. Something like that. And then we'll double check this part here. And I don't know where the snappy part is. It's somewhere about here, just about there. Did you get that? Yep, you got that. Let's just take a look at it from outer space before we commit to it. I mean, that should be fine. If anything, it's not that difficult to rebuild this portion of track, seeing as it is, well, let's just say it's short. And we could have just one train doing the whole journey, or because it's just a point to point. I think these train stops are so close, but you never know, maybe there'll be enough demand for two train tracks, for two trains on this. I double tracked it, so pretty much we are able to give it the full two trains on it. I think later on also I did commit to having I wanted a dedicated loop line, right? So eventually we're gonna have to make that station two trains, two platforms, one for the loop and then one for that intercity train. Same thing here with Bay City. I mean, the train station is pretty massive with these 6 lines. Let's press play. What's happening? Let's press play. Yeah, we can press play. We'll set up the line here from We're setting up a lot of lines and not actually sending a lot of trains. We do need to buy some trains. But we only have 1.5 million. There we go. Because we have the train line set up from Seattle to Bay City, so we can get that train going right away. The Loop City is a different story because, okay, it seems as though this depot is not within reach. So we're just gonna put this train stop like a bit further back and a bit more central. And there you are. There you are. A nice depot there. This should pretty much service all the lines, I think. If not, well, then we can do something like that. Although I do believe this is going to be a temporary depot. Well, just to keep it within the sort of culture of things, we'll put this huge junction here. Good. So now we bought some trains. Do we have any new trains that are American but also steam? The Baldwin. And the one we have on the East Coast right now, I don't remember what it is. It might be the Rusish. It might be the Rusish. I think the Baldwin would be good to put on the loop line. It would be a modern piece of art to put on the loop line. So I think maybe we will put the Rusish. It reaches 55 kilometers. Or we could, yeah, we'll do the same consistency as the East Coast train, just for this Seattle to Bay City line. Right, here we are. 1, 2. Not enough money. Okay, I'm not trying to buy it. I'm trying to build it. 4 wagons gives it 78 meters. I already forgot the length of these train stations. I think they're a bit. They are to 160, aren't they? But we'll start with the small train. Let's just take a loan out. My train needs to be rebuilt. Let's do this quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 2.5. No, 2.2, 2.1 million. We also need to do the local transit for these cities. Where would that be? That would be, oh, and just a bunch of trains decided to show up right after having purchased a few trains. That's all right. Well, there goes that train. Absolutely no demand on the line. I sort of rushed to put that train on the line. I just hope we're not losing too much money at this point in time, because there is a point at which we will lose too much money and our oil line will not save us. Now I'm thinking, do we do a sort of similar thing we had on the other side, on the East Coast, where we had a nice wide loop line, or do we just need the one stop to go to all these local houses? I think the local houses with 3 tightly placed stops could be good. That could be good. Just like that. So what do we have? We have a few more cars here. We have the American Stagecoach that we can buy for Bay City. I'll buy 5 of them. And let's place a line here. I think there's a road depot. Yeah, we have a road depot in Seattle as well. So this should take no time. This should be really simple. Put a bus stop on this side and a bus stop on that side. And we have ourselves our line for Seattle, where we'll name all these lines a bit later because that's not too important. I think Seattle just needs 4 stagecoaches. The line's a bit shorter. Unable to find path to stop. I'm having trouble believing you. Did I say line 4? Line 8. There we go. Maybe we should have named the line, but that just makes it more confusing if you ask me. I just go by color code. Alright, so how is this here looking? The game, we are auto-saving, so the game looks paused. So right now, it's double tracked, but it's running only on one side of the track. That is alright. It's more about getting these local lines set up and running. And also, it would be fun to do a loop line this episode, but unfortunately, we're going to have to leave that for the next episode. So we will do that in the next episode, and for now, I'll bid you a farewell. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We had a lot of track placed, but it's all sort of skeleton, except for, of course, the west and east coast, which are looking fantabulous. I would like to see a train pass this part here at the 2 elevations. That would be something. That would be quite a sight. And we are in it to win it because there is a train coming from both ends here. So we'll be able to see that very shortly. There goes all the lumber. And here comes a cargo train up the hill. Oh, slow it down, slow down. Here we have it. What is that? How does that feel? That feels pretty nice. There we have it. Keeping the smog inside of the dug out place. I don't think that actually makes any difference to smog, but it does make it interesting. Alright, see you next time everybody. Thank you for watching.